Stories now. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, on Friday turned back representatives of the nation's military service chiefs at a meeting he convened to discuss the security situation in the country. This is according to a statement signed by Mr. Lanre Lasisi, that's the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Speaker, House of Representatives. And according to Mr. Lasisi, the Speaker, who was visibly disappointed, described the action of the service chiefs as an insult to the Parliament and promised to report the matter to President Muhammadu Buhari. The meeting has been postponed to Monday. Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channels, where you can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook as well. We've got all our platforms on social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. Now, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in the February 2019 general elections, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, on Wednesday, finally reacted to the tribunal verdict in his suit against President Muhammadu Buhari and the ruling All Progressives Congress, the APC. In a statement on Friday, in part, he said, "Nothing good comes easy, and hard as the task to rid Nigeria from forces of fascism and be an instrument for the full restoration of the rule of law and democracy in Nigeria is. Your support makes the struggle worthwhile." Those are words from the former vice president. Now, the former vice president also appreciated his supporters and urged them not to underestimate the effects of their belief that justice will be done. We're tracking that story even as it still comes through. What does this mean to the opposition PDP, perhaps looking ahead to 2023? Can the PDP bounce back? What if an entirely different party from the PDP or the APC wins? Will the cookies crumble? Big question. Now, the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, has introduced a new policy on cash-based transactions, which stipulates a cash heading on daily cash withdrawals that exceeds 500,000 naira for individuals and 3 million naira for corporate bodies. The new policy on withdrawals in banks aims at reducing the amount of physical cash, coins and notes circulating in the economy and encouraging more electronic-based transactions, payments for goods, services, transfers. I will analyze this in just a moment. What does this mean, though, to businesses and to you? It's prime time here in Lagos. This is State of the Nation. Welcome, everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation. In 2012, the House of Representatives urged the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, to implement the cashless policy in phases. It also urged the CBN to remove the charges on limits on daily cumulative withdrawals and deposits to encourage small businesses. Now, the resolution was sequel to the adoption of a motion moved by Yakubu Dogara, that's the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, who said that the policy could save costs in the financial sector but did not imply real sector growth. According to him, the majority of retail and commercial payments are made in cash from a larger percentage of the population who do not operate bank accounts. But now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has introduced a new policy on cash-based transactions. We saw those tweets coming through, which stipulates a cash handling charge on daily cash withdrawals that exceeds 500,000 naira for individuals and 3 million naira for corporate bodies. The CBN governor, in the briefing, clarified what this policy is set to achieve.
The entire cashless process will have to permeate the entire Nigeria by March 2020. Okay? So this policy is in no way designed to disenfranchise hardworking Nigerian businesses, as some of the media analysts have been saying, many of whom have indeed embraced electronic payment channels and online digital marketplaces. Today, permit me to say that small and medium enterprises and other businesses have various options and channels available to them for collecting legitimate payments for goods and services, like bank transfers, using the POS, using the mobile POSs or mobile cash, mobile money, the USSD codes, and the QR codes. Indeed, it is in the public interest to promote an efficient payment system via the cashless policy, which helps to reduce the punitive cost of cash processing, often passed on to bank customers via deposit money banks. Cashless policy also improves transparency in financial dealings and reduction in crime, such as advance fee fraud, graft, ransom payments, and extortions.
The CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. But let's dig our teeth into this a little bit deeper. Johnson Chukwu, an economist and financial expert, joins us via Skype to analyze the CBN policy. Many thanks indeed for coming on the show at this time. What's your interpretation of this policy to begin with?
Thank you, Gimba, for having me. In the first place, I agree with the central bank governors leading out of the benefit of a cashless policy environment. But the only challenge we have is that the cashless policy is being implemented at the same time when the government is also imposing penalties or taxes on online payment platforms. Well, as much as I would have expected that the central bank or the government would harmonize their policy purpose. The purpose of a cashless policy is to ensure that we channel people's payment method to alternative payment platforms instead of cash. If that is the primary objective, you also cannot impose taxes on the online payment platforms. So in effect, what the citizens are going through is a double whammy. They do cash transactions, they get penalized. They go to the online payments and other relevant payment platforms, they get penalized. So I think, given that it's a culture shift, that the government should, in the meantime, allow transactions on electronic payment platforms at no tax. I think that's what is the conflict that we have today. Otherwise, the cashless policy of the central bank is plausible. Using sanctions or penalties to deter people from using cash, one cannot force it exactly, but it cannot come at the same time when the government is imposing taxes on electronic payment platforms.
Okay, now this is where we are. The House of Reps has been on this since 2012, we understand. Now it has urged the CBN to perhaps suspend that policy until proper consultations are done. That's what Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila says. Does the House of Reps have the powers to suspend what that policy is as it stands?
No, interestingly, the House of Reps or the National Assembly does not have powers to give directives to the central bank. They can actually play advisory role. They have what they call supervisory oversight over central bank. But central bank has what you call policy autonomy. So central bank has autonomy in terms of regulating the financial system, in terms of managing the monetary policy, in terms of maintaining financial stability. So in those areas, the CBN Act is very clear. The National Assembly, none of the National Assembly, nor the executive arm of government can give directive or instructions to central bank. What they can do is to present to the central bank governor the overarching importance or need to minimize any policy that will impose kind of penalty on the citizens or that will impose financial cost and inconvenience on the citizens. But it cannot be a directive that says you cannot implement this policy.
So you're the financial expert in this one, but what's your response to people who are of perhaps a divergent opinion from the central bank governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, saying that this will indeed stifle small and medium businesses, which he totally disagrees with? What kind of explanation or enlightenment can you give to those people? Are they right or are they wrong?
Okay, let me put it this way. The small and medium scale enterprises do not even have lodgements of 3 million or that volume, those volumes. So I don't think they will suffer much from these penal charges on cash lodgements and cash withdrawals. The people that will suffer these penalties are those who have a lot of financial resources, economic resources, that are still transacting by way of cash. Where I diverge from the central bank is that, like I mentioned earlier, there are also penalties. I'll give you an example. Only yesterday, the central bank came out with a guideline that requires banks to unbundle transactions from merchants, POS transactions from merchants. Let me put that in a layman's language. A merchant is somebody who uses the POS to receive payment from customers. So those payments are boxed into large amounts, maybe a daily transactions, and then transferred to the customer's account. What the central bank is asking that these transactions should be counted on any amount above 1,000 and above should be counted as separate entity and taxed. So we are going to have charges on every amount of payment received from a POS, such as the value-added tax and stamp duty. What that means is that if you receive 1,000 naira from a POS, you are going to pay 52 naira 50 kobo, which is equivalent to 5.25%. A lot of retail transactions do not have that kind of profit margin. So what you are doing is you are taxing the capital of business people by charging stamp duties of 50 naira plus VAT on that stamp duty of 250 kobo on transactions of 1,000 naira. And there are several businesses that don't have that kind of profit margin. So what you will do is to compel them to move away from using POS, and they will ask customers to pay them with cash. But because they can't also go to the bank to keep that cash, because you're going to charge them if they lodge the cash, they will keep the cash in their phone.
So in effect, in a nutshell, my apology, in a nutshell, will this policy encourage the cashless policy of the government, or will it discourage it?
If you take the information of what the policies have come out at the same time, which is penalties on cash withdrawal and cash lodgement, onboarding of POS transactions by merchants, and taxes on all electronic payment platforms, you are going to discourage the cashless policy. You are going to compel people to take their money back and keep in their homes because they can't afford to pay taxes that you have imposed on the electronic payment system, which they would have ordinarily migrated if you only limit the charges to the cash handling charges.
Now, are you surprised? Because this is not the first time we're hearing this kind of statement that's been made from the regulator, the CBN. Sometimes in the last, the 8th Senate, the Speaker of the, I'm sorry, that would be the Senate President, did make that mention that those charges from ATMs and POSs from banks, commercial banks, should be suspended. What do you think happened to that? Because ever since then, it seems to have gone down south and no one has heard just much about that anymore.
Yes, because we really don't have consumer advocacy groups. Like I said, the central bank is not subject to the directives from the National Assembly. So these issues will be taken up by consumer advocacy groups that will insist that the central bank cannot allow these charges that are punitive to the average consumer, average banking customer. Today, the multiplicity of charges that customers have to face in executing transactions with the banking system will discourage the overall objective of improving financial inclusiveness. So it may not be the National Assembly that will give the directive. The options left to the National Assembly are few, but they are very drastic. And that drastic measure could be that the National Assembly may want to review the powers of the central bank. But I don't think it has gotten to that point. I believe the central bank should also listen to the opinions of several Nigerians. If we have to implement the charges on cash transactions, we must, in the meantime, suspend any tax on electronic payments so that people can migrate to electronic payment platforms. We cannot also unbundle POS transactions and charge 52 naira 50 kobo on a transaction of 1,000 naira because that will make those commercial transactions unviable and profitable for those who are doing them. That's
a good place to let it rest. And most sincerely, thank you so much indeed for talking to us on State of the Nation. An economist and financial expert, Mr. Johnson Chukwu, talking to us via Skype.